Just as sorry, just jumping back slightly. So your history. So you said you were in, you sort of had a finance background. What do you think? Because obviously, you know, I come from a corporate background. There's kind of lots of things that I can see have flown, you know, have sort of followed and flowed through. What do you think has helped you from your previous role? And has there been anything surprising now that you thought, oh, I didn't know I could do things like that?
So as well as being an accountant, I also studied for a master's, so business in a master's in business finance with the Open University. And I think implementing a lot of the strategic things from the MBA that I put to use in my own business was very satisfying. And that was like, oh, these things, you know, these things and concepts do work. Because I didn't really get to use them too much in my previous roles when I was working for other people. So that was very pleasing, all the effort that went into getting that, you know, distance learning while I'm bringing up a young family and married and doing a house extension and everything else. So that was really satisfying, actually. And the finance obviously comes in handy, you know, when you're doing analysing deals or keeping your own books. So yeah, that's a skill that will always be useful.
Yeah, definitely. Is that something that you would advise people to do, perhaps? Do you think it was helpful to do an MBA type course, or
they're always useful. It might be a bit overkill for certain strategies, but I've found it useful, definitely.
Yeah, because I think, and that's another thing that I talked to a chap called Paul Merrick a lot, and he's always talking about remembering that property is a business, because we tend to just have it as, you know, something on the side, an investment, but it really is it is still a business, very much so. So so talk us through how these sort of properties progress. Did you find, you know, going out and getting rent to rents easy? How did you go about that? That's always quite a big sticking point for some to get them started, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it wasn't easy. The first rent to rent probably took between 4 and 6 months with the same vendor to actually get that signed and across the line. And then a bit like buses, the next one came a month later. So I'd done those myself, both direct to vendor. What I then found was my time was then getting taken up running the business. So I didn't have the time to chase down landlords and vendors. So I did then go to the sourcing route. So basically said to sourcers, this is the kind of property I'm after, these are the areas I'm interested in. Come back to me with the options. So I managed it myself. I found it difficult, and I was prepared for all the no's that you get from people and having to explain it, and people thinking that you're mad and everything else. But I mean, I got there in the end myself, but then just time. I didn't have the time after that to do it.
Do you know what? I really love that, because quite often people start out with sourcing properties, and you know, and I think both ways, you know, work if you want to find it yourself or you want to source it. But what I really like about you is yours was really very much a business-led decision. You had got to the stage where things were starting to grow. The business needed to grow. It needed you. You're the helm. You needed to be there. And actually, you could see that your time was more valuable than a few £1,000 spending hours and hours. Let's be fair, it can be, can't be? And it can still, even once you've got a few, it can still be a bit of a drought for a while, can't it? And then suddenly you'd find some more, and it's all that time and effort. So yeah, I think that's it's a really nice way that you kind of turn that around.
Yeah, I sort of had to sort of pick, there's people that do this sourcing full time. So I need to go to them basically. Yeah.
And how was that? That's just an interesting one. Did you kiss a few frogs with the sourcers as well? Or were you able, because you had that experience, you were able to be quite, decisive on who you were able to work with?
Kissed a lot of frogs with deal sourcers. I found that very difficult, but it took me about, again, another 6 months to get one across. I had so many deals put in front of me that the numbers just didn't stack up for me time and time again, and I was like, this is crazy. I got some recommendations from other people who had actually signed deals with deal sourcers, and I focused on 2 in the end, and I actually went down the bespoke route. So rather than take the deals that the sources already had found, I went down the bespoke route where you can, you fill out the forms, put your criteria across, put a bit more of the deposit up front, and they go and find them for you specifically, and I like that approach because it meant that I could concentrate on the areas that I was really interested in. And I could concentrate on the size of the property and the different property criteria, rather than just getting presented with a 1-bed flat in the back and beyond that just wasn't going to work anyway.
I love that. And that's, all of these things are the foundations and the building blocks of a really successful business. So, a lot of people, and you'll have spoken to it, they come to me and, I found somebody's found me this sourcing thing. Oh, brilliant. Where is it? Oh, it's 5 hours away. Oh, have you done your due diligence on that? No, but they said it's a really good deal. And I've looked at their numbers and it looks great. So that's why, me banging on and on and on about knowing your gold mine area, because when you can be really specific, and I don't mind a sourcing company then saying, yeah, absolutely, that seems like a good area. We're happy to spend time looking. And, if they say, oh, a terrible area, we never want to go there, then maybe you might want to reconsider your due diligence. But what you're suggesting is, I've done all my due diligence. I know either from experience or from my due diligence that this area works, and the number of houses, the type of property, the area, it's for these type of people. So suddenly it sounded like you've given them a whole script of what they need. And then they go out and find that for you. And that when it comes back, you're going to be within a few parameters, and you're definitely going to be giving them their money and potentially go and find you more.
Yes, definitely. And that's what I wanted to, so whenever I do anything in business, rather than look at things as a sort of customer supplier relationship, I like to look at them as a partnership. So that's what I want to try and get with the deal sources, is to try and build a partnership with them. And so I've been back time and time again to the same ones. And then you sort of build that trust, and then they know what I'm looking for, and they know they can, if they find it for me, 9 times out of 10 I'll take it as long as the numbers stack up, etc. So we have trust in each other and confidence in each other, and that helps. It just makes things a lot smoother.
Yeah, I love that. And in fact, I love your partnership. I'm a huge advocate of that. We've just taken on a new kind of cleaning operations company for our hotel. In fact, she's doing a couple of other bits as well. And, the biggest thing for me is that they understand how important they are. Obviously, we know they can do a really great job. And anyway, they weren't quite, last weekend, they haven't quite got the tech. And I could feel that she was a bit overwhelmed. We've got, we're trying to get everything done. I haven't managed to get the photos uploaded. And rather than going back, a bit like, oh, well, it really needs to be done, it's part of your job. For me, it's kind of like, okay, well, what can we do to make this easier for you? What can we do to ensure we can get what's best for both of us? Do we need to give you more training? Do we need to do this? And I think that exactly, I'm the same with you. It is all about partnership rather than you're right, you're wrong. It's what can we bring together to make this work. So, and how have you found your sort of team? Sorry, carry on.
No, I was going to say I have a similar thing with my teams of cleaners and maintenance people. I like to think that we work as in partnership with each other, and what I try and do, especially with the cleaning teams, is if I ever get any sort of glowing feedback from a property about its cleanliness, I will share that with the cleaning team, because I see far too often people are only sharing negatives with their teams, and I think that's you've got to share the positives and the negatives, and I think they really appreciate that as well. So I've just taken on, I've just launched a new property in Cromer, and I'm sort of engaging a cleaning company over in that area that doesn't quite work or doesn't quite fit with my normal processes. But I've done exactly what you've just done, and spoke to them on Friday and said, right, how can we work together and sort of come to some common ground between their processes and my processes, and we'll make it work. Because I like to be more sort of solution focused rather than problem focused, and just move forward.
Definitely. It's about having your ears open, isn't it? So when my operations manager, he'll sort of, we'll take on, I don't know, let's say a new app or something, and he'll be a bit like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll give it a go. And he will genuinely give it a go. And there's always this kind of feedback. And then he'll say, it's not working. And as much as, it's the best thing, we'd all done it together, we'd all chosen it together, we'd all done this, that, and the other, we really thought we'd made it. If he says it's not working for him, it's not working for him. Now, we'll have obviously before that, done some training, done this, that, and the other. And as grueling as that might be, if it's not working for half of your team, the main half, something has to change. And over the time, because we've been fortunate to use kind of, a few different channel managers, so a few different cleaning apps, a few different operations things, you suddenly start to say, well, we really liked that. We'd like to incorporate that. And so over time, we've tried to sort of bring things together. But I do think, I know initially I was a bit like, this is the way I want to do it. Come on, let's do it. And there's no amount of cajoling. Come on, no amount of positivity. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And that's where, I think, as you've said, taking that role of actually listening. Well, what is the problems? Is there a solution within what we've already got, or do we have to potentially add something in, change something? Because for me, and I'm sure you're the same, Mark, the cleaning side of the team and the operations is just the number one thing.
Vital, absolutely vital. And as much as I've spent so much time building the processes and systems behind that. And I think you've got them as tight as I can. From my side, I can always improve every aspect of the business. But it's so from sitting where I am now today in Australia, I've got the confidence in every cleaning team that I've got back in the UK to do a fantastic job, and that just makes my life so much easier. They're vital. So when I find good ones, I hang on to them.
Yeah, definitely.